one of the more difficult head-to-head videos I've ever had to film. I did it a little bit differently. I set out with really one goal. So first, assume you don't have a platform allegiance and are just looking for a new device and considering these two. You walk into a store and these are both sitting in front of you. We don't usually get the chance to compare two devices that came out so close together, especially flagship ones. Usually they got 5 or 6 months separating them, and that is just an eternity in the smartphone world. So for each category, I broke it down by which phone I'd pick if I was only basing my decision on that category alone. I really want to make this a real-world usage test. So let's start with screen. On paper, this should be an absolute blowout. The Nexus 5 is a bigger 4.95-inch screen and doesn't go into the absurd, fabulous, 6+ inch category. Nexus 5 has a way better resolution at 1920 by 1080 and a better PPI at 445 versus the 326 on the iPhone 5. But the story isn't just in specs alone. As we noted in the review, the Nexus 5 screen looked kind of washed out, like it had a waterproof screen protector on top of it. Similar to what we saw on some of the Sony phones that actually are waterproof. It looked like things were just a little bit washed out. The 1136 by 644-inch Retina display still looks incredible, and difference in PPI is really next to impossible to discern if you just look at it side by side. Videos look incredible on the 5S, and I'd say the pictures look a little bit better on it than the Nexus 5. But for me, the bigger screen wins out. I pick up the Nexus 5 just based solely on the screen alone. I prefer a larger screen size, and I can just see more on the Nexus 5. Now let's talk about camera. And again, not all about the raw specs at all. Both support 8-megapixel sensors. I'm not going to talk too much about aperture, optical image stabilization, or software that's bundled with them. Apps can replace what gets shipped, so things like photosphere, panorama, and slow-mo aren't really going to come to play here. It's all about real-world usage, what I'm most concerned about with this test. So cameras, in all honesty, used to not matter that much to me. As long as pictures look good on Facebook or Instagram, I was pretty happy and I didn't care. And then I had a son, and suddenly I'm taking pictures and videos of absolutely everything. So when we tested the Nexus 5's camera, it looked good in stills, but not great. Some images, especially in low light, looked incredibly washed out. In normal conditions, though, pictures were pretty good. Not the best I've ever seen, but very, very serviceable. Video, I thought, though, was absolutely awesome. The built-in mic was probably the best I've ever seen on a camera. But as I mentioned, my kid kind of comes back into play here. He sleeps a lot, and I don't want to wake him up with the flash, plus it's kind of bad for his eyes. So low-light images are really, really important to me. And here's where the iPhone 5S really shine. Even without its newfangled dual LED flash, pictures in virtually every condition just look better. Video fidelity was probably a wash on both devices, but the mic on Nexus 5, again, was clearly better. If this tells you anything, when my son was born, I took the 5S to the hospital with me to use only as a camera. If camera is my deciding factor here, I'd pick up the iPhone 5S. Let's jump into hardware. I'm not going to talk about 64-bit versus quad-core. Again, this is a real-world usage test. Both of these phones are insanely fast and well-positioned to be usable in the future. What it's like to pick up and hold each device, though, is really what's important to me. To a lot of people, a phone is just a tool, but to me, it's kind of an extension of who I am, and that sends a message. I really love the unibody design on Apple's iPhones. They always do an incredible job with their devices. Chamfered edges, machine-drilled holes, and the colds when I pick it up in the morning, I just love that feel. Whenever I switch back to an iPhone, it really says to me at that time in my life I'm striving for simplicity. It's like visiting an old friend I haven't seen in a while. We can just pick up where we left off and feel like no time has ever passed. The Nexus 5, though, feels incredibly solid to hold. It forfeits metal for textured plastics, and it just works. The soft touch back feels really good, the ceramic buttons scream quality, and the elegant buttonless front looks like a tech toy from the future. Each time I hold it, I'm really surprised by the thinness of the device. Whenever I switch back to Nexus 5 or another pure Android device, it's because I'm craving variety. I want something more than a background and icon arrangement to make the phone my own. I want information at a glance, not hiding inside an application. This one could really go either way, like flipping a coin, but calling it a tie is a super cop-out. So today, if I had to pick up one based on just look and feel, I'd go the iPhone in gold. So the elephant in the room with these two devices, as far as I'm concerned, is value. For $349, you can get yourself a brand new 16-gig Nexus 5 in the color of your choice and not get stuck with a 2-year deal. You can easily take it to AT&T, T-Mobile, or Sprint, and it's just going to work. You can sell it maybe a year later for about half the cost and pick up whatever else you want. No early termination fees, no hassle. The iPhone and 16GB form can be had for $199, $150 less, but with a 2-year deal. So ask yourself, are you the kind of person that likes to switch phones, or are you happy with what you have for a few years? That's really a big factor here. To purchase an iPhone unlocked and to do a Nexus 5, it's going to cost you a whopping 649 clams. Certainly you'll make more when you sell it, but that's still a gigantic pill to swallow up front. If you want to go to 32GB, the waters get a bit murkier. Only $100 separates the contract-free Nexus 5 from the 5S. If you want more than 32 gigs on Nexus 5, you're going to be out of luck, but Apple is super happy to sell you a 64-gig phone. For me, though, I'm the kind of person that likes to switch phones quite often if you couldn't guess. The notion of being on a 2-year deal with a single device makes me really anxious and start to sweat. This one, if I had to pick one device based on price and value, I'd go Nexus 5 every day of the week. Each device has a ton of intangibles, and they're sort of tough to put in any particular category. I love the idea of Touch ID, even if in practice it doesn't always work that well for me. I like NFC and Face Unlock on the Nexus 5. The idea of using NFC to pay for things with Google Wallet seems really cool to me, and I always feel jazzed to use it, but rarely do I ever get the chance to actually put it into practice. I appreciate how I can customize Android to suit just me, and if I don't like the experience, there's always a custom ROM or theme that'll just make me smile again. The iPhone experience is simplistically elegant, and app experience in iOS is still superior. Ironically though, I've got 802.11ac Airport Extreme router at home, and only the Nexus 5 supports the faster bands. The Nexus 5 narrowly takes this, making it the winner in this competition, but just barely. So I can already hear the anger, but don't put too much stock in who won or lost. Remember, Rocky lost to Apollo, but still came back to be the champion. Both are incredible devices, depending on the time of the day, which way the wind blows, could have gone either way. I love both of these phones. They're extremely premium, top-of-the-line phones. You can't go wrong with either device. This is a real-world usage, which I picked up based on different categories. I didn't want to put too much emphasis on the specs or what speeds were or what benchmarks said, because that doesn't translate to how the real-world usage is. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please let me know if you like the new style of video and the new format. I'd love to hear your comments. Leave it right down below, located in my pants region. Please give the video a thumbs up. It's definitely appreciated. And of course, check us out at technobuffalo.com for the latest and greatest tech news. Until next time, I'm John Render. What's up, everyone? John here. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, I certainly hope you did. Click on the subscribe button right under me in my pants region to get tons more tech videos from Techno Buffalo. We've got awesome unboxings, comparisons, reviews, recaps, and everything else you can think of in the tech world right here on the channel. Join the herd today. If you want to check out some more content, just click right over this way to see some other recent videos. See you guys next time.